we've arrived at Homolovi and used the dump station, and Michelle is doing the thing that Michelle does. She's talking. Here she comes.
Hi.
Hi. New friends.
I met a new friend, Juanita and Nova.
Which is which?
She said we do have to go to the visitor center. We shouldn't just go to the site because sometimes some things are working on the site, so it may change. So we should have gone straight.
Okay.
So we have to go back out and turn left and then go. She showed me the picture of the building.
Okay. All right.
So.
Well, I'll get myself buckled up and we'll go.
Okay.
Holy smokes. How dangerously warm is our fridge?
It was up, you can go see what it says. 54, I think.
All right, 60 is 52 it says, so 60 is our danger.
Yeah, so it's fine. So it's already come down to?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a beautiful morning here at Homolovi State Park in Winslow, Arizona. And on our trip, I had booked us here initially so that we could take today and do some catch-up stuff. I knew we'd do a little bit of laundry and things, and obviously go downtown Winslow to stand on the corner, but maybe even go to Petrified Forest a little bit and see that. But tomorrow we're leaving. We're going to be boondocking a lot, dry camping a lot, and having that fridge be able to run on propane is critical. Did some research last night. I think I have a plan to get this thing fixed. So we are going to basically open up the burner area and we're going to clean it. We're plugged in here at Homolovi, and so we're not having to use the burner right now, but it gives me a chance to test it out. Oh, another thing that went wrong somewhere along the way is we got here, I checked our propane levels with the Mopeka sensors, and they both read 0 and totally empty, yet we were cooking on the stove. So something went wrong with the Mopeka sensors. This morning when I checked them, the one tank that is full is reading 100%, the other one is reading 1%. So I don't know what's up. So we're gonna have to check that as well. But part of what we're gonna do while we're here in Winslow is we have to do laundry, and we've gotta get some propane, and we've gotta get some groceries. All these things are very, very critical in this stop right here. Again, on our way where there's 9 feet of snow at Crater Lake, Oregon. I've taken off the shroud and it says that my curbside, this side, is low, but yet my indicator says there's still pressure in it. It's not, it's low, but it's not empty. So I think what I'm going to do, oh, the wind, is I'll switch to the other tank and we'll pull this one off, and we've got to get it filled anyway. Well, now look what's going on. I just checked the sensors and now it says that the roadside one is empty, yet it's full, and the curbside one has 32%. So there's something going on with these sensors. Have you had any issues with those Mopeka Pro sensors? They're a little persnickety, I found, in how they get positioned on the tank. You got to make sure that's exactly right. This seems to be the first time we've had any kind of an issue where it looks like they're failing. Let us know in the comments below if you have the Mopeka Pro sensors and how they're working for you. I'd really like to know. So I don't know, I just pulled off that curbside one and looked at the positioning, and it looks fine to me. So again, let me know in the comments below if you guys have had any issues with these at all. So I have an idea, and that's that these sensors, they want you to put silicone grease, plumber's grease on the bottom, and it helps to make sure that they adhere really, really well. Well, the last time I did this, where I moved these around, make sure they're all in position, I grabbed dielectric grease, which is almost the same thing. It's still a silicone-based grease, but the viscosity, it's a lot thicker. So we're talking about, instead of the thickness of honey, we've gone to the thickness of peanut butter, basically, but both a clear silicone-based product. So I'm gonna clean this off, both off the sensor and off the bottom of the tank, and I'm gonna use some isopropyl alcohol to do that. And then I've got some silicone grease. I do carry this with me because this is pretty darn handy stuff to have. And we'll reapply and re-put this on, and we'll see if that fixes the issue. After changing that out to the silicone grease, I just checked the signal, and we'll check it out. Now this is showing 22%, and I would say that's about right, the way the tank feels. And the one that's full is showing empty. So it's gotta have something to do with that grease and a little bit of dirt and grime. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull off that other tank. I'll shut it down and clean off and reposition that Mopeka Pro sensor, and hopefully that'll take care of this issue. And just like that, it seems to have solved the issue. Moral of the story is, use the recommended product. There's a reason they recommend these things, and don't make my mistake and use a different type of grease to secure that on there. And it just takes a minimal amount, I believe, because it's just enough just to make sure that those stay really tight, almost like it's suctioning that rubber onto the bottom of that tank to get a nice, strong signal. Now, I've got to look up to see if there's a place I can get propane in Winslow. So here's our fridge. Now let's get these screws out of here so we can get this cover off. This removes this plate. We're just going to set it aside. Now I need to remove this, which protects the flame. So here's where I kind of got stymied before, because I need to remove this housing right here, but yet it seems to be attached somewhere else. So we're gonna do some experimenting and try to get this out of here. And I think what I might have to do is take off this secondary housing in order to get that out of there. So let's work on that. We're gonna set this aside for now, down here. And let's see if we can get this other housing off of there. It's just two Phillips screws that are holding this on. I'm going to bring the camera out so you can see this. There we go. There's one. The other one is up kind of high. And there's the second screw right there. Set those aside. Now let's see if this comes out of there. Well, there, it just lifted up and slid out of there. Let's see if now I can get this thing out of here with some difficulty. And yeah, look you can see, if you can see this or not, there's some white flakies in here. Something's going on. So pretty much I think what we're going to do is look at blowing this out. I'm going to get the air compressor out, and we're just going to blow this out and clean it out and see what that does for us. Now that we have this blown out, let's see what happens when we try to start this again with the LP flame. See if it lights and if it keeps going. We might have to adjust our gap a little bit. There was a white residue in there, and I believe that's from that galvanized steel heating up a bit and going down. There is no yellow residue, which is good, because that would indicate that we have a leak in our not refrigerant, but ammonia for the absorption fridge, the ammonia and the other stuff that's in there. So there's no leaks, everything looks good, and as I say, it runs perfectly fine on AC power. But let's get Michelle to flip the switch on the fridge. We're gonna ignite this and we'll see what happens. All right, Michelle, I think we're ready. Can you flip the switch on the fridge to LP?
Sure, I can do that.
Thanks. All right, go ahead and flip that switch. Well, that lit right up and burned beautifully. The flame looked great. I think that's it. I think it was just so simple that it needed to be cleaned. It was just a little bit dirty. So it's a lesson for all of us when we're going to go on a trip. Double check everything. I may need to add more of a long-term check for things on our checklist. Things to look at if we park for quite a while, just to make sure that everything works. I'm gonna have to remember to check this before we leave Crater Lake, because again, when we're there, we're gonna be plugged into electricity, so there's gonna be time that we aren't using the propane for the fridge. I'm really glad this turned out to be that simple of an issue to fix. We made it. We're standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona.
It's such a fine sight to see. Have you ever seen chips like this? Oh my gosh, they're so cool. I'm definitely going to try them.
Look at that, deep fried pickles in these seams with little chips like Michelle got. Amazing.
So, oh my Lord, it's a flatbed Ford, and we're gonna put a sticker. That doesn't rhyme. Does that matter? Do you care if it rhymes? Sticker. I gotta rhyme with sticker. I can't rhyme with sticker. Oh my Lord, it's a flatbed Ford, and there'll be a sticker that you could afford if you order one from our shop. All right, we found a spot. We're gonna have Michelle put the sticker on.
If you ever get to Winslow, Arizona, check out the red flatbed Ford, check out the red flatbed Ford, and look for our sticker. If you find it, put it in the comments below.
Well, I don't think I've talked much about the site here at Homolovi State Park, and it's different than what we expected. This is pretty much a desert environment. There's a couple trees, right here, but it's not wooded. It's incredibly open. In fact, this is almost what I would call big sky area. Now, one thing about this pull-through site that it's just the way it is. It's the way it is sometimes. But it put all of our utilities, so our electric and our water hookup over here, it put it on the living side of the Airstream. Luckily, our cord was just long enough to reach our electric cable. I had to use our little longer water hose that we use sometimes. I don't use this one real often. Oh, the auto former. That's something new that we have, and I'm really, really fortunate. A good friend of ours, and they're Paul Moon from Moonscape. He had no longer had a use for it. It's heavy. It's a 50 amp. Their new motor coach is a 30 amp. So he asked us, there was a bunch of us there, content creators, and if anybody wanted it, and I said, you know, I would really like to try that out. So we're testing out the autoformer and seeing. So far, I'm liking what it does. It's like a super duper surge protector and some other stuff in there. So the autoformer is really a nice piece of equipment to have, and I'm going to be very, very happy to try it out in our travels and as we go forward, and to kind of let you know what I think and how it's working out for us, and if it would be the right thing for you to have. It's something that, you know, it might, if you worry about the motors running in your Airstream or any other travel trailer, it might be something you might want to consider getting. We're not affiliates. I've got nothing, no skin in the game as far as promoting the Hughes autoformers or anything, but it's just something I've looked at for a long time. Again, we'll let you know. We'll let you know what we think about them. It's Friday. Oh, so I'm wearing red. You know, I think Michelle's wearing red today too. It's Friday and we're packing up from Homolovi State Park in Winslow, Arizona. We're going to head north to a... actually, we're going to be doing some dry camping. I can't ever remember the name. I'll put it right here because I can't remember the name of the place we're going, but it's really someplace special just for one night. But we're still having issues with that fridge, with a propane fridge. So it worked better, it ignited better, and I've done a little more research, and it sounds like I'm going to have to replace the thermocouple, which on our model of fridge is also the igniter. So I'm going to have to get one of those. There's none on our journey at all until we get all the way up to Salt Lake City, like in about 5 days. So I've got to see if I can make this thing limp along. From the research I've done, I think if I clean it, maybe that might be part of the issue. There might be some residue. I'm also going to measure that gap and make sure it's okay. In fact, I got a little trick. I'll show you how to measure that gap to see if it's accurate. And anyway, hopefully that'll limp us through. In fact, I've even looked at ordering from Amazon and having it land at one of the parks we're going to be in a few days, and it'll get there the day we leave. And I've had experiences like that in the past where I actually don't get the merchandise, so I'm not willing to do that. But it's definitely a part that I'm going to order a couple of to make sure that we have one with us at all times and start building up that arsenal of parts that we have on hand to in case anything goes wrong like this. But I'm going to grab some tools and we're going to go through and disassemble this and clean it. I'm not going to show you the disassembly right now, but I will show you the cleaning of it and how I measured that gap.
So there's our igniter and thermocouple. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it so that I can clean it a little easier and then put it back in and then check that gap. So I think that might need to be cleaned up. I'm going to use a wire brush and get that cleaned up. I have to put my thumb in there or the camera can't focus on that.
So I have it cleaned and put back in there, and now I'm going to adjust the gap. And what I'm going to do, the easiest way to measure this is actually going to be with a drill bit. They recommend a 3/16 to a 1/4 inch gap. So I've got my 3/16 bit and a 1/4 inch bit right there, and I think I'm going to adjust it for the little larger gap. It looked really close to me when I was looking at it, and it may sound counterintuitive, but up a little higher, that flame is a little hotter up near the tip of that flame. So I think that might help alleviate this issue of the fridge shutting off. And again, we'll find out when we get to our next campground, which I'll put the name right here again because again, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced once, and I definitely can't remember what it is.
It's the, I don't know if you see that. That's the 3/16, and that gap is closer than this. That's almost touching. So again, we're gonna adjust this so we've got that 1/4 inch gap. So there, I've got our gap adjusted. We're a little bit higher now than we were. Let's see if this ignites. Hey Michelle, can you switch that to propane, please? It's right in that. Let's zoom in a little bit. That nice looking flame. It's getting nice and red hot, just like it should. With that all adjusted, we're gonna try that now and see if that works at our next campground. I don't remember that thermocouple getting that red hot before, so this may help it out quite a bit. Again, we're going to keep you guys informed. I'm still going to order a couple of those things. I can't hit one of the places we're going to be. One of the stops we're going to be on our way to Salt Lake City, or not to Salt Lake. Either I'm going to pick one up at a Camping World in Salt Lake City, or I'm just going to go ahead and order a couple of them from Amazon and have them delivered to Crater Lake, where we're going to be for 5 months. We had a comment once in one of our videos about how do we sanitize our water connection. And I don't know, I'm doing something I guess nobody else I've ever seen do. What I've got is I've got a mist bottle right here, and in it there's Everclear. Now Everclear is what, 190 proof alcohol or whatever. Anyway, it's the highest test alcohol you can get, and it's going to be food grade, food safe, right? You could drink this if you're bonkers, but you could drink this. And unlike other alcohols that are going to be poisonous, this is not. So what I do is I simply spray the connection with the Everclear to sanitize it all. That's what I do. Because sometimes you're never sure what people have been using those water faucets for at the fills. It may say potable water, but who knows what somebody actually used that fitting for.